Hello and good afternoon to all the good viewers of this program who are watching this program with us live. Allow me to share the link of this program in Telegram for everybody who wants to see it live so that they can have the link. I can also do the same. I can open up the link through Telegram into YouTube and see it live with you and fix any problems that may arise. We have a special program for you today. Our special program for you today is based on an advertisement that Islamic Republic of Iran has done. You see, Islamic Republic of Iran, for you, the English viewers, we have to open up the whole story a little bit more. Islamic Republic of Iran has been committing genocide on the people of Iran since it started its coup of taking over the kingdom of Iran more than 44 years ago. But as of 44 years ago, they came in power and they started the genocide at a faster pace. We had 8 years of war with the country of Iraq, which you call Iraq. This war should have ended at least at the earliest time after it started within a year and a half, but it was prolonged by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini at the time. The war started because of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who had aspirations of wanting to provoke the people of Iraq to go against Saddam Hussein so that they can topple over Saddam Hussein so that Iran and Iraq can once again be formed into one country, hence giving him power to rule both countries. Saddam did not want any of that, so he invaded Iran. War came back into Iraq, and then finally it stopped in the middle 8 years later when Khomeini finally said he's going to drink the bottle of poison and sign this peace treaty. So the peace treaty to him was a bottle of poison. And thank God he died shortly after, so we didn't have to deal with his craziness anymore. However, from that time onward, the whole entire genocide took a different road. You see, before that, during that 8-year war, anyone they wanted to kill, they would say, oh, he's against this war of defending Iran, and they off with your neck. After that war, they had to come up with a new excuse. So the new excuse after the war turned out to be this hijab business. You see, hijab was big during that time too, but the war was bigger than the hijab. So they hid the hijab problem behind the war. After the war, hijab came openly into the scene. And because of this, anyone who was trying to defend their daughters, wives, or whoever would become a political prisoner, and the woman would become someone who's fighting against Islam by trying to remove the hijab. Hence, you're a non-Muslim and your punishment is death. And this went on and on and on and on and on. And every single time they had to bring a different person in charge as the president of Iran. But president of the Islamic Republic of Iran has the same position as a court jester in the kingdom of a king. Absolutely nothing. You know, the whole entire rules are made up by the supreme leader in Iran, who at this point in time is Khamenei. And Khamenei does what he feels he likes to do. And because of this, the people of Iran have no choice but to be the subjects under his feet. Iranians have tried many times since then till now to protest, to try to do it in a peaceful manner, to try to get their word out. Internets are normally cut off. The Sepah is sent in, who you know as the IRGC. Their job is to come in there and kill people. Mass killing. While the curtain is covering Iran, no internet. Of course, there's no news media. There is no CNN, Fox, MSNBC, Sky News, and the rest in Iran. There is no foreign news in there. It's just their own news. They control it. Anyone who worked in the news agencies from the past eras that did not agree with them has already become a political prisoner, killed off. So the people that are there, they just work for them and do what they want. Hence, this moved forward and on and on and on and on until today. So they want to change their image. They want to make it look like they are a new Iran, that this Islamic Republic of Iran is liked by Iran. They don't tell you that the last voting that took place just a month ago had less than 2% of the Iranian public participating in voting. And that more than 1.5% of those who participated, when it came down to putting a name on the ballot, they put names such as potato, tomato, banana, pineapple, and so on and so on. They name names that don't exist and are names of fruits and foods and vegetables and stuff like that. In other words, they made a mockery out of the voting system. Those 1.5% are people who were forced by the government to come and vote. How do they force you? When you work for the government in any department, they force you to come. If you're a student and voting in Iran is anyone who's over the age of 15, by the way, if you're a student, they will tell you you will lose marks if you don't show up to vote, and that those marks that you lose end up being at numbers as high as 80% of your year's worth of marking on your exams. Meaning, if you had passed everything 100%, every test you got, including your final exams, you would still fail because you didn't come that day to vote, because you'd end up with the 20 out of 100. Hence, you have to go and vote. So all these people that were forced to go and vote, when it came down to putting the name of who they wanted as president, they put down potato. They want potato, okay? The actual potato to be a president. The other guy would write tomato. So they made fun out of him. So they're left with less than 0.5% of the Iranian population voting for it. So they decided we have to do something to make a new image, create a better image, make it look like everyone should leave whatever they're doing outside of Iran, run and buy some tickets so that they can fly to Iran, land in Iran, to come to this restaurant that we are going to advertise. Now, we got a hold of their advertisement, and we are going to watch it together. For you, the English viewers, I will translate what is being said for you in English so that you can see it. Then we're going to break it down, and we're going to make fun out of it the way that it truly deserves to be made fun of. So allow me to share with you the video of this restaurant. And once it comes on screen, I'll play it for you, and then I'll stop it for you. I'll translate it for you, and we'll go forward from there. And while we're waiting, I'll send greetings to everybody who is texting in the live chat of this program. Yes, now you have the advertisement with you, okay?
کافه رستوران معمولی نیست. شما اینجا آق رو مهمان امام حسین علیه السلام هستید.
She says, this is not an ordinary restaurant. in this restaurant, when you want to drink water, you are the guest of Hussein, the Imam of the Shia faith, who is their third Imam, which the Shias pretend that God that they believe in, the statue named Allah, not the real God, the God they believe in, handpicked to be his representative on this earth. And he died 1,400 years ago. Yes, he is going to pay for your water. Have you ever heard something so stupid? I mean, you can go to McDonald's and ask for a cup of water. They'll give you a cup of water. You can go anywhere in this world, from Canada to New Zealand, from China and India to United States, any country on this planet. Walk into any restaurant and tell them you need a cup of water. They'll give you a cup of water. As a matter of fact, you could probably get the cup of water, drink it there, and say thank you and leave, and no one would bother you. Here, this is not an ordinary restaurant. The water is going to be paid for by a man who died 1,400 years ago. Have you heard something more ridiculous than this? Let's continue.
اینجا یک کافه رستوران معمولی نیست، چون در تمام غذاهاشون از ثروت امام حسین علیه السلام استفاده.
This is not a regular restaurant, cafe restaurant, she says, because over here, they're using what she calls a sorbat of Imam Hussein, as she calls it. So what they're doing is, sorbat is normally made out of some kind of ingredient, like you have some kind of fruit, vegetable, something that you use and you turn it into a paste. So here they're using Hussein. So that means that they would have to dig his body out, right? By the way, he's buried in Karbala, Iraq to you guys. So they would have to go to the country of Iraq, which is next door to Iran. They would have to dig his body out, okay? The government of Iraq would have to okay it. Then the city of Karbala would also have to okay it. All those people that go there to visit Hussein, 15 million people during the month of Safar for religious purposes, because, you know, they worship these imams. So they would all have to be pushed aside. Tourism of Iraq has to be brought to a complete halt. That means all the money that Iraq makes goes down the tubes so that they can go dig his body out, bring his bones back, cook it, so they can put it in the food that you are supposed to eat. Okay, continue. This is not a regular cafe restaurant because, and then she decides, you see, in Iran, we have a problem. There are some Iranians who live in Iran when they want to become high class. You know, they're not like me who've been here for like 40 years. They're living in Iran. They only speak Farsi. But when they want to become high class, they have to put in their, insert into their words a few different English words so that they can make themselves look big, and for the people that are listening to not understand what just happened because they're trying to listen with a Persian ear, not with an English ear. So when they're hearing some words that they don't understand, they're wondering like, what happened? And then they think, oh, she's high class. You know, she knows words we don't know. It's not like someone who's been living here for 40 years now is talking to you and he may not know a word or two. And then he remembers it later on. Okay, this is someone over there pretending to have high class. Okay, she wants to be very high class. So she says that the people that work there, the personnel, as she calls it, the personnel of this cafe restaurant have to do what is called a wudu. Now, a wudu is a minor ablution. And this minor ablution in Islam is done in two cases only. Number one, if you want to do or perform an obligated worship prayer. You see, in English, we have the word prayer, but in Arabic, they have two different words for prayer. They have salat and they have dua. When you do salat, which the Persians call namaz, and the Urdu-speaking Pakistanis kapiyas, and the Pashto-speaking Afghans kapiyas, namaz or salat is when you worship a being as your God. Dua is when you ask for something from the God. Hence, in Islam, when you want to do a worship prayer towards Allah, the God of Islam, you have to do a minor ablution. If you're going into some kind of a special mosque to worship Allah and to do your worship prayer there, then you have to do the wudu. The only other time, which is the second time that you do wudu, is if you want to open the Quran, which is supposedly the words of Allah written by Allah. And then we found out there's like 40 different versions of the Arabic book, which are all different, meaning he wrote it 40 different times and he forgot what he wrote in each one and wrote something different in each book. But that's a whole different topic. If you want to touch the Arabic words in that Quran, because it's the words of Allah, and you want to get close to Allah, you have to be in a state of pure, so you have to do your minor ablution again, which in the Arabic language they call wudu, and then in Farsi we call it wuzu. Hence, the people that work in this restaurant and will be eating in this restaurant, I mean, you work there, you're going to eat there. They have to do this minor ablution, which means when you're coming in there, you're coming in there to do worship, but you're not worshiping Allah because it's not based on Allah. If you remember, the person that gave you free water in this place is Hussein. So you're there to worship Hussein. Continue. She says, this place is not a regular cafe restaurant. This is a cafe restaurant of the religious people named fons. Now, this fons decided to be a word that they made up based on the word Fazlullah. They took out the Allah part, the lillah, because there is no Allah. Allah is two words, meaning al and la. Al is God, la is the name of the God. Hence, you got Allah, the moon God. Now, by moon God, we don't mean the actual moon as a God. No, it means the God of the moon. And Allah is the war god of the moon. Okay, that's why you see the picture of the moon on all their flags. It's because of this. Okay, now the Muslims, majority of them are uneducated. They don't know their religion, so they have no clue about any of this. But a simple search online will tell you what la is, and it's easy to find out. Nevertheless, back to what we were talking about here. Fazlullah means the extreme amount of giving by this God named La, right? In abundance giving. Okay. So they've taken out the La part, the Allah part, and then they took the beginning part, and they decided to kind of make it sound more Persian than Arabic. So they came out with this fons that you see here. So this is supposed to be the restaurant that gives a lot. Okay, gives a lot. And as you can see, if you look behind her, they made this advertisement like as if the place is packed. And you see the tables are so close to each other. The seats are so close to each other. And it looks like it's packed, but packed with almost nothing but women with hijabs on. Well, I don't know where the men are, but it's all seems to be women. The only men we saw were these guys over here. And they look like they're working there because they're all dressed in the same black. You can see them. Let's go back a little bit more. And they had this one guy here who, I don't know if he's picking his nose or if he's picking his mouth, because he's got his finger somewhere in this vicinity here, and he's just watching the camera, watching towards the camera, pretending like he's looking to the side to make it look like, you know, there's something going on. But you can tell he's a server because look, there's another one over there. And then as the video will go forward, you'll see another one coming out the other side. So the servers are the men, but that's against Islamic ideology because it should have been the women that would be serving the men, not the men serving the women. So they made another mistake there. Well, this is the only way they could get people because, I mean, none of these women are actually eating any food. They're just there for this advertisement to make it look like Iran's Islamic Republic is women friendly. They don't tell you that these women don't have the right to come out of their house and go to a restaurant without their husbands. They don't tell you that in an Islamic law, they would have to have their husbands there as their representatives because the only form of ID they have is inside the ID of their husband. They don't tell you that part. Nope, they don't tell you that part. And then they want to show you the ceiling, right? They want to show you the ceiling that looks like it's coming down in certain areas and going up in certain areas and doesn't have much of a height to it. So if you're a tall person, you know, if you're like 6'7" and you walk in here, your head's going to hit the ceiling. You know, you have to bend and walk like as if you're bowing in Japanese martial arts. You know, you got to bow and walk around because you might get your head hit into some kind of a ceiling. But let's continue and see what else they wanted to show us after this person passed by. This is where we left off. Oh, yes, look at the ceiling. Look at the ceiling. I mean, have you ever seen a better ceiling than that? In order for us to see and understand about the restaurants in Iran, we're going to compare that restaurant that you just saw there with some other restaurants and see what other restaurants look like. Okay. Now, there are some restaurants in Iran that from the outside will look like this. They're built inside of some mosques. So that when you go in, and these are in the south of Iran, because they wanted it to be a little bit touristic, they built a bunch of stores, some restaurants, and then once you go in, then on the second floor, they will have a mosque because, you know, Iranians don't want to go to the mosques no more. So what they have to do is they have to construct it this way to somehow pull you towards the mosque, you know. They kind of gave up on the idea of just built a mosque somewhere and have a restaurant in another place, right? We have other restaurants that look like this. This is the front of the restaurant. If you want to sit in the open and you want to eat, you got restaurants like this in the south. Look better than what we saw there. Look, the tables are not all clustered together. It doesn't look like some scene out of some kind of a cheap movie where you don't have enough room to put everybody into. We have restaurants that look like this, but that one is supposed to be like really good. We have restaurants where when you go inside, the restaurants look like this. They're wide. You can walk. The tables are separated from one another. You don't have to worry about if you want to move your seat, it's going to hit the next guy behind you. You don't have to feel like you're a bunch of sardines in a box. We have restaurants that look like this. So I don't know why they're showing you such a weird restaurant. But we want to show you what Islamic Republic of Iran is running away from. We're going to talk more about this topic on Saturday. But you need to see it and understand it better. So I'm going to share with you a picture of the whole of Iran. Islamic Republic has been committing genocide on the people of Iran, and they've been destroying the forests of Iran, some which are registered as historical forests by the United Nations as places that need to be protected because they're part of history. They're historical. Iran is a very, very old country. It's not just 2,500 years old. No, that's from when we started and established actual kings in Iran to unify Iranian land. Prior to that, Iran was still a country. It's just that it did not have a unified king over the whole of the country, but rather it had smaller kings over provinces. So Iran goes back more than 10,000 years in history. But in this map, we're looking at the modern provinces of Iran, not the old historical provinces of Iran, which would make Iran even bigger. And here you have a chart at the bottom here. And this chart explains to you the different colors used in this map. You see like the gray ones, like Elam over here or Zanjan over there. The gray areas are provinces that between the year of 2002 and 2012, which is 10 years, where they did this research, had the least amount of people killed by the hands of the government of Islamic Republic of Iran, only because their only crime is that Islamic Republic of Iran considered them an enemy of the state by putting ridiculous charges on them, such as the person is at war with Allah, the God of Islam, or the person had said something that the government considers to be bad about the Prophet of Islam, insulted him in some way, or put him down in some way, which majority of the time is not a put down, it's you telling the truth about the Prophet. They call that an insult. Or that the woman's hijab was not fully covering the head and had come back down a bit and some hair was shown. And because of this, now she is an enemy of God because she showed a little bit of her hair and she has to be killed. Or that you saw a woman getting beat up in the street by forces of Islamic Republic of Iran, IRGC, and you intervened to stop them from killing her in the street live in front of everybody, and you slapped one of those IRGC guards or something, and because of this, now they will say that you were also fighting against the God of Islam and you need to be killed, or that maybe you decided you were not feeling well, so during the month of Ramadan, which we are in now, you decided to eat something in the street, and they said because you ate in the street, they didn't ask you, are you sick or what's wrong with you or why did you have to eat? Are you on any kind of medication that involves you to eat or any? No, they don't ask you any of that. They just right away take you, and the court case will be set for you the month after, and now you have to be hanged because you are against the Islamic Republic of Iran. And if you decided there to defend yourself or something, they will put a ton more charges on you that you insulted Ayatollah Cockroach Sayyid Ali Khamenei, and because of this, now you have to be killed. So, as you can see, the darker the color gets, the more deaths that province gave every year, with the darkest of them all being the black ones, Tehran and Khorasan. In these two provinces, you see the most amount of death. Year after year after year after year. On top of this, we have peaceful protests when they cut off the internet and they do mass shooting. They bring out military weapons to shoot the people with in the streets to kill thousands upon thousands, which then Islamic Republic of Iran will go and lie at the United Nations and say, we didn't even kill 500. But as you can see, just in each province alone, you can see that there's over 500 deaths by hanging by the Islamic Republic of Iran on such crimes. So this is the bad image of Islamic Republic of Iran. They want to turn it around. They want to make it look nice. So they told you they have a new restaurant, which is not like any ordinary restaurant. There you can go and you can have free water paid for by a dead man from 1,400 years ago. Where in the food you will eat his bones because it was cooked for you. So my message is to the Iranian people living in Iran, whose water is stolen by the government that is supposed to be in charge of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, so that they can siphon that water out of Iran, send it through Iraq into Kuwait, so that in Kuwait, people can grow grass, regular grass, in a desert in front of their home, and water that grass so the grass doesn't die, so that you can have a house in Kuwait that would look like a house in North America, where you have some grass in your yard in the front and back of your house, and be able to walk out without shoes on grass and have the feeling of grass between your toes. So the Iranians who are in areas of Iran where your water has been siphoned out, and in summertime you don't have any water, I suggest you find out where this restaurant is in Iran and go there and only order water. Drink it, and then bring with yourself jugs that you can fill the rest of the water in and walk out of there. And if anyone asks you anything, tell them don't interfere with my invitation from Hussein, the Imam of the Shias, because he's paying for my water. Go there and get back your water. Reclaim the water of Iran for yourself. This is my message to you living in Iran, because Islamic Republic of Iran has said now that you can go there and you can get free water. Do not order any food. You're not cannibals. Don't eat the human beings. No, we don't do that. Go there and order free water and drink as much free water as you possibly can. Okay. As a matter of fact, if you can move next door to the restaurant, it's even better. So that every morning you just come out and go there and get your water. Okay. All the water you want to drink, just drink theirs. Okay. This is how we do it. So With that said, I leave everybody who's watching this program in the hands of Jesus. If you like this program, if you're learning from us, use your wonderful finger, click on the subscribe button. That's how we can make the bots in YouTube advertise our program so we can get more viewers, so they can watch our program, so they can spread it, so we can wake up more people with it. Until our next program on Saturday.